Om Shanti. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Saturday online workshop series. So, as we know, every other Saturday we come together to talk about some interesting points which we can keep in our awareness and focus on while we're in this field of constant action, which reminds us of our spiritual identity and how to grow spiritually while we're still oriented in this field of constant action and constant doing. So today we're going to talk on the topic of turning bitter moments into blessings, because we do face in our life some situations which stay along with us in the form of certain emotions and feelings that we hold within, but how to really transform it into something positive, into something which can uplift the soul, is what we're going to discuss today. And today we have with us Sister Anjali, all the way from New York. So welcome, Sister Anjali. It's so lovely to have you with us today. VK Anjali, she works as a medical doctor and has been in the spiritual knowledge as a Raj Yoga practitioner for the last 5 years. She has deep interest in incorporating healing, the spiritual healing, and empowering patients, as well as exploring with them the true meaning of health at a practical, emotional, and spiritual level. So it's a wonderful blend when we can always have spirituality and we can have that feeling of goodwill for each other as a part of what we are doing in our professional life. And Sister Anjali is doing exactly that. So welcome, Sister Anjali, and over to you. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you so much, Sister Sneha, for that beautiful introduction, beautiful welcome. First, I want to make sure, can you all hear me clearly and well?
We can hear you, Sister, but if it can be a little louder, it'll be better.
Okay, is this better?
Yes, this is okay.
Okay. So, welcome everyone, and I am so happy, so grateful, feel so blessed to spend this afternoon, evening with you, depending on which time zone we're sitting in. And, such an interesting topic, turning bitter moments into blessings. And there are so many angles that we can take, but I wanted to share a little bit of context and then just explain how this sharing and evening will be set up for us. So, as a world, collectively, I think we are all living in very interesting times, unpredictable times, unprecedented times. And I know for me personally, working in the healthcare field for the last 18 months, it has definitely been quite interesting, caring for COVID patients, myself getting COVID. And during that time, for me, my spiritual perspective, spiritual practice really came to life and gave me so much inner strength. But the even bigger thing that happened for me, which forms the basis of today's sharing, is in my heart grew an immense love and immense respect for the entire tree of humanity, including all of you, and really makes me feel like we're a world family and how connected we are, and that we're all going through this journey together. So, really, my pure wish, my pure vision for this evening is that we sit together as family and that each of us leave this session a little bit different than we entered, experiencing a little bit of a shift, feeling more inspired, feeling more empowered, feeling closer to our own truth, feeling lighter. So this evening, it's actually not going to be about my story and my sharing, but it's going to be about honoring each and every one of you. Because I know I don't know any of you personally, but one thing I am sure is that you are each amazing and you have amazing stories, amazing experiences, and I am sure have gained a lot of wisdom from all of the last, journey of our life, and maybe even particularly the last 18 months during the pandemic. And we receive a lot, we take in a lot from our experiences, from the media, from the news. But just like our body needs oxygen, water, rest, so that it can rejuvenate, our mind, our spirit, our soul also needs pockets, or I'll say doses of silence and peace. And so today won't really be a traditional workshop where I'm constantly sharing information, but it will be, I would say, a sacred cocoon, a virtual sanctuary where we will share some or feed you some doses of spiritual perspective, but then we will pause and really go within, reflect, and really digest what we have just heard and internalize it so that we can create that inner space of healing, that inner space of reflection, so that the next time we face a situation, these spiritual perspectives have become a part of us so that we can use them. And really, that is where the blessing is. Because I know all of us through our different experiences, and many of you have maybe been joining regularly. And so a lot of these spiritual perspectives, they're already there in our mind, and we like them, we know them, we understand them deeply. But where that inner power really develops so that we can change a bitter moment to a blessing is when we give ourselves that pause to really make that perspective part of our being. And I know all of you are very familiar with this phrase that is going around of our new normal. We're creating our new normal. And in my mind, it's really about a new way of being and a new way of seeing. And one last thing before we get started is, at least for me personally, I really like to make things very simple in my mind, back to basics, back to essence, because we live in a world that is quite complicated, quite expansive, and of course there is a beauty in that also. But I think, after the pandemic, our being is almost craving that simplicity, that essence, getting back to our core, because there is beauty in that, there is clarity in that, and there is inner power in that also. And then the last thing is, we try to change this situation or that difficult interaction where we sometimes operate at, okay, one moment to the next. right? One situation to the next. But I often find when we go to the root and we position ourselves at the root, then our whole perception, our whole experience of life and situations change. So a lot of today will be focused on very simple, very basic, very experiential. And of course, there will be opportunity for each of you to share and interact. Does that sound okay with everybody? I will take the silence as a yes.
Yes.
So,
yes.
good. And is anybody here for the first time, just so I know? It looks like all of you are here. You're pros. And is anyone new to meditation? Okay, good. Because we will be having pauses of reflection and meditation throughout. And if at any point I'm speaking too fast or you can't hear me, please don't hesitate to just interrupt. Like I said, we are here as family. So I'm going to share my screen. So even though we are sitting virtually, like I shared that this evening will be like a virtual sanctuary. So I invite each of you to take your virtual seat in this beautiful space. And we are going to start with a little reflection, a meditation. And I invite you to, I know it's very tempting to close the eyes because it feels more relaxing and less distracting, but it also is very sleep inducing. So I invite you to pick a point anywhere in this virtual room, in this virtual meditation space, and you can rest your gaze gently there and keep your eyes open. So just sit comfortably, alert but relaxed. And just let's begin by becoming aware of our breathing. Take a breath in gently at your own comfort level. And you can breathe out. This benevolent breath of life, this gift of life. And just notice how the chest rises with the in-breath and goes down as you exhale. Such a miraculous process. And this oxygen is always there the moment we take birth until the last moment. So just have that thought of gratitude for the breath, breathing in and breathing out. And just stay in the present moment. Nothing else exists right now. Just you, all the wonderful other souls joining, the room you're sitting, the computer screen. That is all that exists at this moment. So give yourself the gift of the present. And now we move our attention to the physical body. This beautiful gift from Mother Nature, the elements. And this body does so much work for us, day and night. So we start at the top of the head. Just relax the muscles in your scalp, in your forehead. Relax the jaw. And keep a gentle smile, smile of gratitude. And observe your neck, so strong, so tall. Relax the muscles of the shoulders. You might find that you're very tight. Just let it go. Feel all the toxins of emotions and stress leaving the body, being absorbed by the earth. Relaxing your arms, your hands, your 10 fingers, your legs, and feel your feet gently but firmly planted on the ground. Mother Earth. And give yourself permission to be in the present for yourself. And let go of any tension in the body. And just relax. And if any thoughts about the past, about the future, about what you have to do later come in the mind, just say thank you, but I will talk to you later. Right now is my time. And if any other thoughts are rushing into the mind, just take a conscious decision to observe them. No need to judge them, engage with them, criticize them. Just like water flows and keeps moving, just watch the thoughts come and then go. And feel that lightness in the mind, in the body. You deserve this gift. Om Shanti. Thank you. So I hope you are all feeling a little bit relaxed, a little bit more present. So now I'm going to ask all of you to put on your thinking caps, your creativity caps, and would love for any of you or all of you to share by unmuting your mics. What do you see on the screen? And the beauty is there is no one answer and all answers are correct. What do you see? Any ideas? Would anybody like to share what they see on the screen?
I just see the swirl
A swirl.
going from outside all the way to the center.
Beautiful. Anything else? Feel free. We're all here as family, and there's no wrong answer. So maybe I can give you some ideas how others have described what they see. Like somebody shared beautifully, they see a swirl in the center of the page. Some people describe, they see the galaxy. Some people see a thumbprint. Some people see like a snail. Someone even described they saw a jalebi. For those of you who are from the Indian background, they saw that. And some people even said they see a dark space in the midst of white freedom. So you see how when you look at what is on the screen, there are so many different ways to look at it, right? And there's no right answer, all are correct. And the whole idea of showing you this was what you see actually triggers your thoughts. It triggers your creative thinking. But what you choose to focus on in this picture as an example is your choice. we can all look at this and see completely different things. And so in our day-to-day life, so many scenes happen, so many situations, so many different personalities and comments that come our way. But can we control any of that? No. But what is important is what I choose to see, what I choose to focus on. Doesn't mean that situations won't come, difficult interactions won't come. They will come. They are part of our life's journey. But our choice lies in what I choose to focus on. So let's just pause for a minute, because I know in the beginning we talked about creating our new normal, our new way of being, our new way of seeing life as full of blessings. So imagine in your mind, you're creating this new foundation, and just pause and really take this in, that it is absolutely my choice, how I choose to see things, what I choose to focus on. It is my choice. So just pause and just take that in and feel that power and that choice and that freedom that we have. Okay, so everybody has that in their mind, in the foundation of their new normal. It is my choice. So when I first came to the Brahma Kumaris and studied Raj Yoga, this statement really was so fascinating to me and so empowering for me, that as is your vision, so is your world. As is your vision, how I see things, what I focus on, that is my world. So whatever I see that is happening outside with situations and interactions with others, whatever I see triggers my thoughts. I create thoughts based on what I see. And those thoughts then create feelings. See, often we are so aware of what we feel. You know, we can feel happy, we can feel sad, we can feel disappointed, we can feel stressed. Thoughts are a little bit sometimes hard to be in tune with because they happen so fast, but feelings we are very in tune with, right? So I see something, I experience something, I create thoughts about it in my mind, which then creates a certain feeling in the mind. And these feelings color how I act, how I interact, and how I respond to the outside world. And this creates my world. So what I choose to focus on, my vision, will create a certain feeling. And that's what will determine that when a situation comes to me, do I see it as a bitter moment and feel, like I'm grumbling? Or am I able to see the blessing or the gift behind? Right? So just kind of building our layers of the foundation of our new normal, new way of seeing. So first is, it is my choice what I focus on, what I see in the situation. And second is, as is my vision, so will be my world. That is what I will see. Everybody's okay and with me?
Yes.
Okay. So, in a very, very simple way, there are three ways we can see life and we can experience life, right? We can wear different lenses. And I am sure throughout our individual journeys, we have worn each of these glasses at some point. And sometimes we try to wear all three glasses at the same time. But one way of seeing life and experiencing situations is is surviving, or you can say, I'm hanging in there, right? So in the surviving mode of seeing, we're just getting through life. We don't feel any purpose. We don't feel any enthusiasm. We're just kind of going through life, kind of flat, right? How many of us have felt that way sometimes at work? When people ask you how you're doing, you say, I'm hanging in there, or I'm just surviving. How many of us have felt that way? I have definitely felt that way, and it's okay if we do. The other way of seeing life and experiencing life is the existing mode. So, in the existing mode, our internal emotional state is a result of situations, circumstances, comments, and behaviors of others outside. So the outside affects my inside. So when I win, when I achieve something, when someone praises me, when I feel included, then I feel good. I feel happy. I feel valued. But when I lose, when I don't do well at something, when I'm criticized, when I'm ignored, then we feel down. So when the outside constantly determines how I feel inside, then life is full of emotional roller coaster, right? We feel then that our life is full of bitter moments and full of blessings. We're up and down and up and down. And how many of us have felt that way? I'm sure all of us have felt that way at some stage. And then the other way of seeing life is the living mode. In the living mode, we go through all of these experiences. We win, we lose, we're praised, we're criticized, we're included, we're ignored. We go through all these experiences of life. But I choose how I feel. I know that I cannot control anything that happens outside, but I can choose how I will receive it and respond. And this freedom to choose is what the blessing is. Because bitter moments will come. But when I realize that I have the choice, it becomes a blessing, that freedom. We're not dependent on outside situations or people for our emotional well-being, for our happiness, right? So three ways of seeing: surviving, you're just getting by, you're hanging in there; existing, emotional roller coaster, up and down; and living, where you are the one that's in control of how you feel. And we have all gone through each and every one of these phases from time to time. But let us take a quick pause, a quick check-in with the self internally, and with honesty, let us ask ourselves, which mode do I operate from most of the time when I'm seeing situations? Just check yourself internally. You don't have to say it out loud. Most of the time, am I just surviving, getting by? Am I existing? Or most of the time, am I living? Just check yourself. What do I do most of the time? And then ask yourself, how do I want to be? And my guess, if I could speak for all of you, is most of us want to be in the living mode where we are in charge. So just stamp that in your mind of what our aim is, what we want to become. Sounds good with everybody? Okay. I can see you all are really enjoying that beautiful cocoon, that sanctuary of silence, and I'm happy. So it's good to just take this all in and absorb and reflect, and also feel free to ask questions, or if you have insights, feel free. So like we were kind of building up these layers, right? That what I choose to focus on in situations is my choice. When we talked about the different lens that we use when we write the existing mode, the surviving mode, the living mode. But let me ask all of you, what determines how I see things? Like when a situation happens, what determines how you see things? Any thoughts from the group? I'm sure you have all had situations and difficult moments.
So it depends on how much you have practiced your spiritual strength.
Yes, beautiful. So your spiritual foundation helps you see things differently. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Any other thoughts? So what influences you? What are we taking in from the outside world that influences us? How about social media? Social media, what society puts out, our belief systems, our past experiences, right? They all kind of sit in our mind, and they kind of influence how we see situations, right? I see something in the chat. Yes, past experiences, new experiences, yes. They all influence us. But there is one root which I would say everything starts from, which is our sense of self. our sense of who I am and how I see myself. That really shapes how we see situations and really part of our creating our new normal, our new way of being, our having this perspective of naturally changing bitter moments to blessings really starts with strengthening, as I think Sejal shared, our spiritual foundation, which starts with our sense of who I am. So just to kind of really put this together before we delve deeper, there exists such a beautiful connection, as I'm sure you are all aware of, between our inner world and our outer world. A beautiful flow that is always happening. Our inner world is made up of our thoughts, our feelings, our intentions, our attitude, our sense of purpose. But behind all of that is our awareness of who I am and how much I identify with that and how much I live from that space. So our inner awareness of who I am creates our attitude, our feelings, our thoughts, and it also then determines how we see situations in the outer world. So see this beautiful connection between our inner world, which is in here, invisible, but very important, and the outer world, and where the power and strength really lies, right? We try so hard to change other people. We try to change situations. We put so much effort there. And does it work all the time? No. Does it work 50% of the time? Probably not. But more we put our effort at putting things right at the root, shifting our sense of self, then our whole perception naturally changes. That we don't have to work so hard to say, oh, what's the blessing in this situation? What's the gift in this situation? We naturally then get conditioned to see things that way. And that's really what the journey is all about in creating our new normal. So I'm just going to stop screen sharing for a second so I can see all of you. It's okay if you're not able to turn on the video, no problem. But I wanted to, delve a little bit deeper into this sense of who am I really? And I know many of you who have been joining regularly are very familiar with this and very well aware of this. But I always feel it's never enough to keep going back to basics, to keep reminding ourselves. Because once we go into the world, into our actions, into our roles and responsibilities, somehow it slips and we forget. So who am I really? And we can describe this in many ways, but one easy way and one word we use all the time is human being, right? So two words, human and the being. So the human part, we are very familiar with. It is the part It is our physical existence, the physical body, the part that we can see, that we can feel, that we can touch, the part that we spend a lot of time taking care of. And from the time of birth, this body, this bodily personality acquires many different labels, such as the name, gender, our nationality, our profession, our skills, hobbies, our different roles and responsibilities. We acquire all these labels. And this physical existence, there is a beginning and there is an end. But for much of our journey, we have thought that this is who we are. And when we say I, this is what comes into mind. But we forget the being. The being is the real living energy, the invisible, immortal, eternal being of consciousness. The being is the one that uses this body to move, to experience, to express itself. The being is the one that uses the eyes to see, that uses the ears to listen, that uses the mouth to speak. And the being transcends the physical limitations of the body. It never dies. It is timeless and immortal. And we often forget about the being, which is the real living energy that experiences. And we often visualize it as a tiny, sparkling star or being of light seated in the center of the forehead behind the eyes. And the being is innately, infinitely peaceful, innately, infinitely loving, joyful, wise. This is who we truly are. Peace and happiness are our personal property, non-negotiable. No person, no situation can take that away. But we often forget to tune into that, to remember that, to nurture that. And when we really spend time connecting to that's who we really are, already full, already peaceful, then our attitude, our vision towards difficult situations, towards bitter moments is very different. How does that all sound to everybody? We're taking it all in. So I know that's a lot to digest, even though you've probably heard it before many times, but we're going to take a pause again and go into reflection, into meditation, so that we could really strengthen our spiritual roots. And then we'll kind of share some more practical perspectives of how we can see different situations. Let me just do screen sharing again. Okay. So again, we sit alert but relaxed and encourage you to keep your eyes open and pretend that you're sitting on this beautiful grass in Mother Nature. Like we said, this evening is about giving you that sacred space, that sacred silence to really digest and experience what you are hearing and what you probably already know. So just become aware of your surroundings and how your back is resting against the chair. And imagine a tiny box next to you. And you start filling that box with all the different labels, roles, and responsibilities that you have acquired on this journey of life. The labels of our name, our gender, nationality, profession, the different roles that we play, mother, father, wife, husband, doctor, teacher, all those labels in the box. And you close that box. Just for a little while. And already see how light you feel. And we gently close the door in our mind to the past. We also gently close the door to any concerns about the future. This moment is where I am. And we take our attention inwards and visualize at the center of the forehead a sparkling star of light. Behind the eyes, this is the seat of who I am forever. Timeless, immortal, endless being of light. Innately peaceful, made of love, made of joy, made of bliss, eternally wise, knowing that I am a guest in this body, on this planet, just take in the beautiful vibrations of peace and silence that fill the mind. And it's not an empty silence or a dead silence, but it's a very nourishing silence. That helps me see the big picture and allows me to experience my true eternal identity and feel that peaceful energy moving throughout your entire body, all your organs, your cells, and feel light. And remember, this is who you always were, always are, and always will be, regardless of any situation. Om Shanti. Thank you. How are you all feeling? Just want to do a check-in. You're all okay?
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Just take in that silence because we often don't have time to really pause, digest, internalize, and become. So really wanted to be able to provide this space for all of you this evening. Now, with this renewed sense of self, of who I really am. How can we approach the story of life or the drama of life? And what is the story of life like? And I know we would all unanimously agree it's full of change, full of sound, full of movement, full of action, full of up and down, right? I actually want to share with you, somebody sent me, I thought this described it beautifully, of what the story of life is like. In the concert of life, each note counts. The silences, the low tones, the high tones, all are part of its great beauty. The grace is in hearing the entire symphony. Likewise, in my life, the successes and mistakes are part of a great story. There is as much wonder in being successful as in being able to get up after a fall. Nothing is ever wasted. I learn to accept each moment and appreciate it accordingly. So I thought that really describes life beautifully. And there are two ways to approach life and situations. And both are based on our sense of self, right? Because that's the root. So one way is probably, I would say, our old way, our old sense of self, where we are born and we are born as nothing and no one. And our whole journey of life is about becoming someone. So our whole sense of self, our sense of identity, our sense of value is dependent on my achievements, my job, how much I accumulate, my relationships, how others treat me. We go through life and then finished. Everything is finished, right? So in that type of mindset, when situations go my way, when situations make me feel valuable, then I feel good. I feel good about myself. But when things don't go my way, I feel low. I have low self-esteem. So in that mode of approaching life, there are bitter moments, there are blessings, constant up and down. But when we approach life with that renewed sense of who I am, and we have all made this determined thought, I hope, that this will be our new normal, that we are eternal beings of consciousness with infinite divine potential, full of peace, full of love, full of wisdom. And when we come with that fullness, we are coming on the stage of life into a story of life, not to get and to take, but to give. We're coming to share and to care. We're coming to experience and we're coming to learn. And so when different situations come, it's like a wow moment. There's a feeling of gratitude. There's a feeling of what can I learn from this situation? There is a feeling of thank you. right? So when we're coming from that space of fullness, because we know who we truly are, and we are living from that space, everything is seen as extra, as a blessing, as a gain. But sometimes what I feel blocks us is, one is not constantly reminding ourselves of who we truly are, but we tend to resist the flow of life. We all do it, self included. We resist the natural flow of life, the perfection of our story of life, the natural intelligence of life. We resist. We resist the journey of others. And we're so busy trying to change them and write their script. We resist that each one actually has their own journey. So the minute we drop that resistance and accept the flow of life, accept each one for who they are, and respect their journey, then we naturally are able to see the magic and the blessing in each situation, even if on the surface it looks like a difficult situation or a bitter moment. So, sense of self we have to strengthen. And this is like a daily practice, not even daily, every moment we have the option to choose, how will I see myself? And yes, as the day goes on, we slip and we forget, but then we always come back. And also this practice of acceptance and letting go of how we think life should be and how we think others should be with us. Okay. So, want to just experiment. I have a closing experience for us, but I want to just again give some sort of practical spiritual perspectives that are all rooted in everything that we just talked about. So one is this idea of seeing life as a drama. Ma being the emphasis. Ma means mother, right? So I like to see life as a very motherly, loving, benevolent energy. So just like a mother knows the potential of her child and provides the right environment for that child to grow and experience their full potential. In the same way, the drama of life is a motherly energy. Everything that happens is beneficial. It's there to bring out our highest potential. And what is our highest potential? That we are innately divine beings. Infinite amount of peace, of love, of wisdom. And situations in life are just trying to push us there. You know, Michelangelo said something very beautiful. Michelangelo is the famous artist from Italy. He said, I already see the angel in the marble. I just keep carving until I set it free. Similar with all of us, that divine potential every single one of us has. The divine potential. But the different knocks and shocks of life what we call bitter moments are there to carve out the angel, the divine being that each of you are. So, drama of life. Another very practical perspective is this attitude of learning that we are just students of life in the university of life. And in any university, there are teachers and there are exams. In this case, both are the same. Every situation, every person is our teacher and is also an exam. So when situations come, something very practical we can do. Instead of asking all these questions, right? When things happen, all of us have lots of questions, right? Why is this happening? How is this happening? Why is this happening to me? Instead of all those questions, put a full stop and have that deep conviction that life is not happening to you, but it is happening for you. So we ask ourselves, what lesson is life trying to teach me? What virtue is life trying to remind me of? So whenever a difficult situation comes, instead of saying why, you can say, what is this trying to teach me? And what virtue shall I use? Right? So I want us to do a little experiment. You can close your eyes and bring to mind a difficult person that maybe you recently had an interaction with. And just observe how you might feel when you see their image in your mind. Just observe how you feel. Don't judge the feelings, just observe. And now imagine on that person's forehead a beautiful label. And that label says, my teacher. And in your heart, you say thank you. So everyone is there to teach us. The last perspective, practically, that really helps us naturally see the blessings in life is the attitude of gratitude. And, you know, we are guests here in this body, on this earth, and we get so much without even asking. We get this body, which works most of the time. We get the 5 elements. We get a beautiful family. So much to be grateful for. So I very much encourage every day, when you get up in the morning, as soon as you open your eyes, you put your hand on your heart and just tell yourself, what 3 things am I grateful for in this moment? And do the same thing at night before you go to bed, when you're kind of maybe reflecting on your day, evaluating your day. Take those moments of gratitude, even for the lessons. Things didn't maybe go a certain way, but what did I learn from that? What jewel did I take from there? Because when we operate from that energy of gratitude and that place of fullness, again, we see things differently. And the energy we bring to situations is also different. So these are some very practical spiritual perspectives that I have found to be very helpful to very naturally, to really nurture within the self, so that naturally when situations come, we're not fighting with ourselves that, oh, what's the lesson, what's the gift, what's the hidden treasure. We naturally gravitate towards that perspective. So I want to thank each of you for allowing me to share, but I want to give you all a few minutes if any of you would like to share that in this sanctuary, in this sacred space that was created for you, have you had any new insights, any practices that you might incorporate, anything that touched you, if anybody would like to share, and then we have our closing experience.
I'm Sharla. I like to share something with you about the
Sure.
attitude of gratitude. I started writing in the morning, like counting my blessings, which really helped me. As you said, when I'm counting my blessings, I don't feel anything bitter moments that's already changed into blessings. So I just like to share that. Every morning I wake up, the first thing is I write thank you for what all the blessings I got. So I feel that is useful for me. So I just like to share it with you.
Thank you for sharing. That's a very beautiful practice, and it gives you the power to face situations.
Yes, true.
Right? Because even though we're developing our spiritual practice, doesn't mean that situations won't come, but we get the inner power to see it in the right way. So thank you for sharing that, the benefit you're gaining from that gratitude practice.
Thank you.
Did everyone enjoy the silence?
Thank you, Om Shanti, sister. I wanted to share, I really resonated with the idea of putting the label on everybody's forehead that you have a challenge with as the teacher, because I've heard that before, but I feel like the way that you shared, I mean, the whole presentation was super helpful in that, just knowing that when we do that, it's we really have to show up. We have to then become the highest version of ourselves. We can't just, when we actually take responsibility like that, we're going to have to show up for ourselves, and it's actually a really beautiful thing. And I'm seeing from the presentation, I need to let it sink in, but how really the challenges are really blessings in disguise for us to live our dharmas, each one of us. So it was extremely helpful for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing. Beautiful.
Hi, I'll share something. I don't do social media. The only thing I do is I watch Channel 2 news. And we have been so inundated for the last, 18 months. I think the pandemic to me has been really a beneficial thing. I've gotten so much done. But I feel like what they're talking about and shaming people because they're making medical choices that are not conducive to this mass vaccine for the entire world when they don't even know what the side effects are going to be. But it's like waterboarding, and you keep listening and listening, and there's other people that are that you don't go along with what they say. It's like they're shaming you. But I feel so confident, and I have many friends that are the same way. We have made a decision of what we do. We do things naturally. We don't mingle with people. We live our life holistically, and it's this matter of shaming. Every time you turn on the news, it's like you're, I'm going to fire everybody at the school, and everybody's going to be firing the government, and this one's going. Well, who's to say that you are right? Who's to say that you are right? You just made a quick decision of what people should be doing. And so that's why I feel so grateful. And every one of us that's made this choice feels the same way. And I think people, when they stop shaming people for what their decision is, because I say, if you made a choice to do this, this is on you. I made a choice to do what's on me. And I tell people what my choice is. And it's really great because I'm finding more and more people who have made the same decision. And but as far as this TV and all this other shaming and commercials and the president and the this one and the that one, shaming constantly because you're like this horrible person that you're going to infect the whole world is really. So I'm so grateful. I have such a great attitude about my decisions. That's really good. And I will stand up to anybody and just say, this is my decision. This is on you. And so that's it. But social media, I mean, but this stuff about shaming is really horrible. It's not holistic. It's terrible. And so and I think as we have our own self-esteem, we make our choices. So thank you for letting me share my experience.
Thank you so much for sharing. And also, you know what you shared, that we have to be so mindful of what we take in the mind. Because like in terms of the news and social media, it's like food for the mind. And this mind is such a sacred space that we should just, of course, it's good to know what's happening in the world, but really just focus on keeping this clean, staying in your self-respect, nurturing that soul eternal identity. Then we can face any situation in life. So thank you for bringing that point up.
Om Shanti sister, thank you for beautiful session. I joined so late, that's why I missed the beautiful session. But I joined the last moment when you were explaining about the drama, and I never think that way about motherly love as a ma, and that's the deep meaning I learned, and it's so helpful now that instead of going why it happens, all this question mark, but when I know the drama is accurate all those times, but I did not see this way, that drama is like a motherly love, like mother always wish for the good things, the same way. But thank you so much for beautiful session. I wish I could have joined, sister. Is that possible? We can get the recording, please.
Yes, we will be sharing the recording. We will be posting it on our YouTube channel, and I'll put the link in the chat box.
Thank you so much, sister, for a wonderful session. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. But you joined at the time you needed to join, and you got exactly what you needed.
Correct. Drama is accurate, and I needed this point. Thank you, sister. Thank you, Baba. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti Ben. Just wanted to share with you that listening to you today made me realize how much I let the outside world affect my inner world. And also that I want to always be in the living mode, not just existing mode. So thank you. I'm taking a lot from this session today. I'm very grateful to you. Thank you. Om Shanti.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. So what I will do is there's a special closing experience for all of you in the form of a short YouTube video. And I would really encourage each of you, because I'm sure each of you have taken something different, even if it's just one thing. And while we're getting ready to watch this video, really create that determined, pure thought within of what you're going to implement starting now. And give yourself permission to let one thing go. And with that in your heart, enjoy the closing experience. And thank you from my heart for all of you, all your presence, your vibrations, for being part of today's sharing. So I will just stop sharing and then I'll share the others.
You have the sweetest voice. I could just listen to you for hours. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's just a treasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was really very, very helpful and peaceful.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Shanti, sister. This is angelic experience. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Enjoy the closing experience and just be with him. You cannot hear the sound, right? 1 second. Please indicate if you're not able to hear the sound.
Shanti, thank you so much, Sister Anjali. It was such a wonderful meditative experience. It was special. It was really different from the workshops that we usually do. Like you had mentioned, it's going to be different, and that was very meditative. And we really enjoyed the closing video at the very end with such beautiful blessings for each one. So thank you so much for that. And like you rightly mentioned, what creates obstacles in life is we try to resist. We resist the natural flow of life and know what the journey of others are. So that acceptance from our end is only, it's the big step forward towards healing and also towards self-growth. So thank you so much for that. And this session has been recorded. It will be posted on our YouTube channel in within 2 days. So the link has been put in the chat box. So feel free to take the link from there, and you should be able to see the recording when it's available.
Thank you so much, sister.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, all of you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'm just like in tears. It was amazing. I've been, because I was going to the center until they closed, here in Los Angeles, and just listening every time we had a presentation. This one just, each one is so incredible. This one just penetrated my heart with thank you. And I'm trying to share this with a bunch of people. I'm going to tell them to get on the video to really see this. Yeah, thank you.
And this sanctuary online that was created was really because of all of your energy and vibrations. And it doesn't end here. Your own homes and where you stay, let that energy carry forward there. And the whole inner journey also continue. It doesn't end after this session. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Shanti.
Thank you.
Om Shanti, sister.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Come again soon, sister. Om Shanti.
Yes, yes. So really nice, peaceful. Om Shanti.
And now we will transition towards our evening meditation. So feel free to stay back and enjoy the 1 hour of meditation experience. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.